I heard about it going to 200 and then crashing to 50 in April. It was around this time. And I was able to buy 1.49 or 1.47 BTC. So the price was like 9,000 pesos per Bitcoin.
Hey guys, we have Miguel Cuneta from Satoshi Citadel joining us in the show today. Miguel, it's nice to have you back.
Hello, Marvin. Kamusta? How are you?
Man, it's an honor.
Good
It's
to
an
be
honor.
back.
Oo. And mula nung last time na nag-video, it was around Bitcoin was around 16,000. By the time we're recording this, nasa 30,000 na yung Bitcoin. Pero gusto ko simulan yung interview dito kasi para at least makilala ka ng mga tao na nanonood dito. People know you as a person na sobrang mas maaga ka sa Bitcoin compared to the normal person. Pero what did you do prior to Bitcoin? Where were you exposed in?
Well, I was actually in the poker business. So yeah, so I don't know if you've been to Metro Walk. There's a poker club there. We were the first licensed poker club in the Philippines that was outside of a casino in 2007. So
Okay.
I worked there for 6 years, 7 years. Was one of the pioneers of that business. And that's actually how I discovered Bitcoin, because we had these poker players. A friend of mine told me, Miguel, have you heard of Bitcoin? There's these guys selling these virtual, like digital currency called Bitcoins, and they're playing on this website called Seals with Clubs.
Hindi ko alam yun.
So if you're a Bitcoin OG, you know what Seals with Clubs is, because it was the only place back then where you could play poker with Bitcoin, and they only accepted Bitcoin because during the big poker boom in the 2000s, the regulators in the US pretty much crushed the online poker industry by cutting off all the banks. So they're trying to do that. They're trying to do that with Bitcoin right now. So a lot of poker players were looking for ways to play online without having to use credit cards or banks. So there was a website that allowed to do that. And whenever they wanted to cash out, they would ask my friend to buy it from them for pesos. And the price was $30, $40, $50 per Bitcoin. Like it was first quarter of 2013. And my friend was like, Miguel, check it out. Read about Bitcoin. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I just ignored it. I didn't really pay attention until later that year.
Ang daming pwedeng title nitong video na to, from casino to Bitcoin, or
It's not a casino, it's a poker. Just
sorry, from poker.
There's no house. You're playing against other people. So it's like going to a place and playing pool or playing billiards or something.
You heard about Bitcoin when it was 30, 40 from your exposure dun sa casino or sa poker game. What made you want to learn about it more? What made you understand it more? Kasi by that time, no, 2013, nadinig ko na yung Bitcoin nun pero sabi ko, ano lang to? Ano to? Ba't kayo bumibili nito? Ano to? Di ko naman sinabi Ponzi, pero it was like, magko-collapse to when the last person who believes in it and buys it, tapos no one buys it from him, it's gonna go down. It's gonna be like the tulip bubble. So parang I didn't think it was a Ponzi or a scam, but I felt na bubble siya until the last person yung greater fool theory, the last person who would buy it. Ikaw, what made you realize it that 2013 ito na yung paglalagyan ko ng pera, or I want to at least buy it for something else also?
Just like everyone else, I was the same. I was like, whatever. It sounds like scam. I don't know. It just sounds fishy. The price is going up like crazy. Like, yeah. And I didn't really have a lot of money back then. I was like, just a normal guy, just working in a poker room. And then my friend just kept telling me, Miguel, I won't explain it to you, but please read about Bitcoin. Here, like bitcoin.org. Go to Reddit, go to our Bitcoin, just read about it. It wasn't until mga September, October of 2013, I heard about it going to 200 and then crashing to 50 in April. It was around this time when we had that big, when it went from 30, 40, 50, 260, then crashed back to 50. So I was like, good thing I didn't, get into that. And then around October, I remember exactly what I read online. There was an article about this guy in Norway who wrote his thesis on cryptography and bought 5,000 BTC for $25 in 2010 or something. And he forgot about it. And then he remembered it because Bitcoin was going back to 200 from the it crashed. And then it started to go back up. It was like $150. He remembered the 5,000 BTC and he sold it for 900K USD and he bought a condo and everything. So I remember that article. I really remember that article. It's probably still out there online right now. So I'm like, okay, I thought it was dead and now it's alive again. So I started reading and then still like a lot of doubts, of course. It took a very long time before I had no more doubts. But that was September, October. Watched a few Andreas Antonopoulos videos. And there was one that really stuck to me. It was this talk that he had in the Disrupt conference. And for me, that was like, okay, that was like the light bulb moment. And that was around the end of that year, we decided, me and a couple of other friends decided to start a company. Like, okay, it's one thing to buy Bitcoin because I started buying Bitcoin in October.
How much was it in October?
So I remember buying 15,000 worth of Bitcoin and I got $1.4 pesos.
Okay.
I just wanted to try, right?
Okay.
So I bought 15,000. It's like that at the time. That was like $350, and I was able to buy 1.49 or 1.47 BTC. So the price was like 9,000 pesos per Bitcoin, right?
9,000. So mga
200, almost $200. At the time, 41 lang in dollar.
Okay.
41.
Okay.
So you have to understand that the peso price and the dollar price really different also because when it was $200, it was only 8,000 pesos. 82, 83, ganyan. It went from October 200 to November, in the middle of November, it went to $1,000. It was very, very fast. And during that span of time, I was panic buying because it kept going up. So I was like, panic buying. Told my friends, told my mom to buy Bitcoin. Everybody bought. And then it crashed. Yeah, that was the first test.
When you started buying, was that already parang a serious amount of money already? Or kailan dumating sa point na, okay, I understand it, I'll put money, versus I really, really understand it, then I'm gonna be serious about it.
It took a long time. It took a long time for me to really like be confident enough to put a decent amount of money into Bitcoin. Kasi I was already a year, we already started a company, we already started all these different services, and I still had doubts. It wasn't that easy talaga. Kasi remember, at the time, it went to 1,200 and then it crashed. And it was a slow bleed out. It took about a year to reach the bottom. And the bottom was like 200, 190, like 85% down, 85, 90, almost 90. And then it stayed there for a year. It stayed at the 200 range for another year. And then it took another year to go from like 200 to 600, like from, I think, 2016 it started at around 360, 300 something, and then it ended at 600 or 700 or 800, something like that.